Hey, Cam, how you doing?
I'm good. All right, so I saw this story. This was in Style Weekly, which is the alternative weekly paper in Richmond, right?
Yes.
Okay.
An alternative is a good way to describe it.
Well, I've found in my travels around the country that for some reason these alt weeklies are never pro-Second Amendment. They may consider themselves to be libertarian morning, noon, and night, but when it comes to Second Amendment issues, every one of these papers just all of a sudden becomes the most gun-banning authoritarian group of individuals you'll ever find. And so I was curious about this story. After Obama's spike, the paper writes, concealed gun permits wane. State reports 35% plunge despite new gun-friendly laws. All right, so what are we talking about here, David? What's really going on?
Well, I can only presume that they, in addition to talking to the clerk of the court's office in the city of Richmond, that they contacted the state police, because I can't believe that they would have contacted all 133 localities in Virginia to find out what their applications for concealed handgun permits were. But, yeah, I think everybody, figured that, after the initial increase, that just like with gun sales that have kind of leveled off, they're still higher than what they were prior to 2008. But we've all seen that some of that has, leveled off somewhat on gun sales. The same thing would have happened with concealed carry permits. And, in fact, back in July, the Virginia Gazette, which is more of a normal weekly newspaper that covers the James City County and Williamsburg area, reported that their permit requests or applications had reduced from the 2009 numbers, but they were still higher than what they were prior to 2008. So I don't think it's a real surprise that they've leveled off some. And when you dig into that article in Style Weekly, you see that the one of the training companies, one of the folks around the Richmond area that do the training that's required for concealed carry permits, said that his classes are still busy. It's just not at the level it was before, but it's still higher than what it was prior to 2008. So, you look at the title of the article and you say, geez, what's going on? But then you read into the article, it doesn't even match what the headline in the article read.
Well, see, and that to me is the most interesting part of this story, that if you take away 2009, and again, everybody knows that 2009 was a really good year for gun sales. It was a really good year for gun training, which, again, kind of gives a lie to the line from Paul Helmke, who was saying, well, there were no new gun owners in 2009. It was just people who already had a small arsenal in their homes. Apparently, these people had a small arsenal and never went and got trained until 2009. You go back to 2008, and again, as you say, the numbers in 2010 are higher than what they were before this spike started in 2007, 2008. And that's kind of the new normal, I think, Dave. I think a lot of folks anticipate that we did ratchet things up a level. There will be a long-term effect to that spike, even though the numbers themselves may not remain at the high level that we saw during the spike. There's a new normal. There's a new baseline.
Oh, exactly. I mean, we see that with gun sales. I mean, you don't see the 42, 43, 45% increases from one month to the next like you did immediately following the election of Barack Obama, but they're still higher than what they were prior to his election. So you're right, there is a new normal, and it's going to vary from locality to locality. It's very possible that Richmond's numbers have settled back to what they were prior to 2009. But in James City County, that article back in July said that prior to 2008, their average was about 385 permits a year. They went up to about a little bit over 600 in 2009, and they've come back down to about 500, which is still 200 more than what they were prior to that point. So, yeah, you're right. There is a new normal. And I think that the numbers that came out that we've seen on, the total number of permits in Virginia, back in, 3 or 4 years ago when the Roanoke Times printed the entire list of concealed carry permit holders in Virginia, there was about 150,000 permit holders, and now there's over 225,000, so that's a significant increase.
Yeah, 232,455 active concealed handgun permits. Apparently 1 in 34 Virginians.
That's a pretty good number.
I would agree with you. Well, Dave, I'm glad you could come on the program tonight and talk about this, set the record straight. The reports of the demise of right to carry in Virginia appear to be vastly over-exaggerated.
I would say so.